Welcome back, Huddlers. This is Eric with the Heartland Huddle, Chiefs, Lions, and NFL Talk podcast, along with my co-host Xavier. Boy, that cut looking clean, Xav. I see the cut on you.
Oh yeah, I got a new look. I'm in love with it. Yeah, I like it a lot.
Hey,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
guys
yeah.
might not recognize Xavier in a past life. He was Mohawk Xavier, and now he's clean cut. Hey, you got that Jalen Hurts haircut.
Yes, sir. Mine's look a
Yeah.
little bit better, but yeah, yeah.
That's what's up. I just went to the shop too. Don't make fun of my corner subscribers, listeners. For 32, I'm doing pretty good. I'm all right there. I'm all right. So,
Ah,
but no.
yeah,
Once again, welcome to Heartland Huddle, Chiefs, Lions, and NFL Talk. You can catch us every week with our episodes. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, catch us on YouTube, and of course, you can search at Heartland NFL Talk. You can check the links in our bios to our merchandise. You can check the links into our bios to our link tree, to our Instagram, TikTok. Follow us on all socials. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you show some love. But yeah, X, let's get into it. We all know, you know, the draft has become mainstream TV over the last 30 years.
yeah.
But the next thing over probably the last 5 or 10 years has really been the schedule release.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
A lot of NFL fans and pundits really sort of look forward to that schedule release. They look
yeah,
forward to figuring out, how their team's going to navigate the upcoming schedule. And so
yeah.
that's what we want to bring you guys. This is the 2025-26 NFL football season schedule. And X and I are going to take you through each game of the Lions and Detroit schedule and kind of just see where we're at. Off the top of my head, though, X, I wanted to start with Detroit. Vegas has them sitting at over or under 10.5 for a
Mm.
win total this year. What do you think about that?
It's when you make it as far as you do in the playoffs, the schedules get tougher. They give you the best teams in the league, pretty much throughout the following season. So that's just makes sense to me. It makes sense to me at the 10.5 because looking at it, definitely got a tough schedule ahead. So yeah, I agree with it. I'll give them two more wins, but that sounds about right where it should be, I guess. If I was a betting man, for sure.
Okay, so a little pre-prediction there. You're saying two more wins, so you're right off the top of your head. You're kind of going with a 12-5 type of outlook. But once again, we'll go through everything and dive that game by game. But yeah, I don't
Yeah.
disagree with you. It's interesting that you say Detroit. Maybe only two more wins. What did Detroit go last year? 15-2, 14-3.
15-2, but the last year's schedule was a little easier than what we have coming up. You know what I mean? So and that was with a depleted defense on the second half of the year too. So
That's
um,
fair. That's a good point. Well,
so
let me ask you, do you think do you think this year is going to be a little tougher too when we're looking intra-division, when we're just looking, do you think the Vikings are going to be better, the Chicago Bears with Caleb Williams and Jordan Love, your arch nemesis, Green Bay
yeah,
Packers as well? Do you think the division is going to be a little tougher?
I think the division will be a little tougher. Given we swept the entire division last year. Uh, and it seems like as Detroit gets better, they're getting better too. It's like they're like right on Detroit's heels as far as getting better every season, along with
Yeah.
Detroit. So it makes for a better division because three teams out of our division was in the playoffs last year, and
Yeah.
that's not that's not something that happens every single year with any division. So that lets you know that as we get better, they're getting better too. So and we always have to look out for that too. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and historically, that NFC North has always been, Lions have been bottom dwellers historically. And then obviously it's been Green Bay over the last 40 years, along with Minnesota, a rotating cast of Minnesota and Chicago, mainly Minnesota. But
Yeah.
obviously Detroit's flipped that script over the last 5 years and have really come from the bottom and have won the division the last 2 years. I
Yeah.
think they'll make it three, but that's for another preseason prediction episode down the road. But I believe they win the division again this year, and obviously, I think they do, hit that over 10.5 wins. And you're right. typically the NFL algorithm, the way I could be very wrong on this. Don't hit me hard in the comments. But I think with the way the algorithm works, based off of your divisional opponents and how you did previously against your division, mixed with if you were a playoff team and so on and so forth, you're right. The schedule does become a bit harder because I
Yeah.
think Philadelphia technically has the hardest schedule. Some of that's dictated too by the rotation of the interdivision play. So,
Yeah.
like for example, the Kansas City Chiefs have been to 3 straight Super Bowls. This coming NFL schedule is front loaded with tough opponents, but on the back end, the Chiefs play the entire AFC South division, which they can't help. And only one of those teams, the Houston Texans, of course, actually made the playoffs this last year. So
Right.
oftentimes it's dependent on that NFL algorithm. Usually the team that won the Super Bowl plays the hardest schedule the next season. But if the intra-division rotation of the schedules comes through and you play an AFC South, if you play an NFC South type of division, that can kind of dilute the schedule too. But no, I completely agree with you. And we've got 2 schedules to go through, so let's just jump through it. Open
Go
up
ahead.
3:30. Open up at Green Bay. It's a 3:30 game on CBS in Lambeau. What do we think? Where are we at after week 1?
I'll give us 1-0 with Green Bay.
Okay. In
Yeah.
Lambeau. Okay.
Yeah. I think they're, like I say, they're getting better. But to me, with my eyes and my opinion, Jordan Love is not that guy. He's okay. He's not great. Is he getting better? Maybe.
Sure.
But yeah, I just, I don't know. He has some more learning to do, some more, and he has a great receiver core. I don't know how their running game is going to look this season. I think they got Josh Jacobs, right? And he's okay.
Yep.
He's not a top 5 or even a top 10 running back to me. So, you know, yeah, I give Lions 1-0 with that one.
Didn't
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs just lead the NFL in rushing 2 years ago?
Yeah, that was 2 years ago though with the
Got
Raiders,
a
not
fat
with Green
contract?
Bay. Yeah, he got a fat contract out of Green Bay, not out of the Raiders though. Yeah.
Oh wow, I would.
You see what I'm saying? So because you got a fat contract, you have to stay consistent. He hasn't been consistent. You know what I mean? And Green Bay has a good offensive line, so but he wasn't even mentioned amongst the top 10 last season. So whose
Wow.
fault is that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would have to push back on that. I'd have to say that
Go
Josh
ahead.
Jacobs is a top 5 running back in the NFL,
Ooh.
but hey, that's me. Either here nor there. I didn't like him when he was a Raider, so whatever. Okay, so
Yeah.
after week 1, you walk into Lambeau week 1 and you win that game. You're 1-0. You come back home week 2 against the Bears.
Back home week 2 against the Bears. That's a tricky one. Uh I'm gonna give the Lions 2-0, and I only say that because I would have to watch their week 1 game to see where they are, see where Ben
Sure.
Johnson has the offense, not necessarily the defense because he's an offensive guy. Clearly, we know that. So once we see where he has the offense, where Caleb Williams is he still mistake prone? Is the offensive line up to par and all of those type of things? So
Sure.
for right now, until I see him, I'll give Lions 2-0.
Yeah, I'm the opposite of you. I mean, well, I'm not 0-2, but so far through 2 weeks, I think the Lions, of course, are 1-1. I don't know if week 1 you're walking into Lambeau. I just think that's a hype game. I think it's a divisional game. That's a trend that I've noticed this year. By the way, just side note is that the first Thursday night game, the defending Super Bowl champions, the Eagles, they always open up the season on that Thursday night. Dallas Cowboys in Philadelphia, and I'm one of those. I'm a firm believer. I played football, not at a super high level, but played. And my thing is I know it takes a good 2 or 3 weeks to really get in a rhythm with and I want to see divisional games that are going to have major implications and impacts on the
That's
back end of the season. I want to see them starting in week 3, 4 when teams really find their groove
yeah,
and when teams really things like that. I don't like all the divisional games on the back end because you could have a lot of players that are hurt, you could have injuries, things like that.
yeah,
But week 1, Cowboys, Eagles, Lions, Green Bay, let's get that game week 3 or 4 when both teams have hit a stride and we're
yeah.
watching good
But
football.
but that's why I say I don't know with the Chicago game because we have no idea how they're going to look with Ben Johnson. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So I'm going to just go ahead and give the Lions the win because we didn't beat them effortlessly last season, but we swept them just like we swept Green Bay. And
yeah,
to speak on Green Bay a little bit, we've won in Green Bay 3 years in a row. So
yeah.
why not four? You know what I mean?
That's fair. That's very
Yeah.
fair. Aiden Hutchinson will be back, of course, and just a reminder to our subscribers and our listeners as well, that you can catch us weekly, every week on YouTube at our YouTube channel. You can search at Heartland NFL Talk. But we do preseason episodes. We make sure we're running through training camps and OTAs, and all of the fun stuff in the off season, and then we get into the actual season. So we'll have more predictions and updates as the season comes along. We've got some really fun stuff coming up this summer, some tailgate stuff that I think you guys are really going to enjoy. But yeah, so moving on here, Xavier. So you got them at 2-0. I've got them at 1-1. You go to Baltimore, week 3. That is a Sunday night football game. Excuse me. That's a Monday night football game on ABC and ESPN. Week 3 at Baltimore.
I'll give us a loss there.
I give you a
Yeah.
loss too.
Yeah.
Talk about you've beat Green Bay 3 times in a row in Green Bay. Well, the last 3 or 4 times you played Lamar Jackson, I think he throws for 500, rushes for 500s, and scores 8 touchdowns.
Yeah. Well, with the new regime and having Jared Goff and Dan Campbell, we've played them twice and lost both times. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And,
Mhm.
and we've seen it, we don't have to dwell on it, but we've seen it with the old defensive coordinator, Aaron Glenn, that whether it was him, whether it was personnel issues, whether it was a lack of talent, speed, whatever it is on the defensive side of the ball, that the Lions historically have struggled with athletic running quarterbacks. And there's
Yeah.
been none better in the NFL history than Lamar Jackson. And we've seen that historically throughout. So,
I
it's in
agree.
Baltimore as well, too. It's a Monday night game. They're going to be hyped up. So far, you've got them at 2-1. I've got them at 1-2 after 3 weeks.
Mm.
You come back home against the Browns.
Come back home against the Browns. I'll give us a win with the
Yeah,
Browns. I mean, the
I like
defense is good, but like I say, we don't know what they're going to
quarterback
look
room.
like. We don't know what the
Quarterback room's up in the air. Yeah.
yeah, you just don't know. So right now, the Lions definitely have the edge with that game for sure.
Okay. So we're looking good there. I
Yeah.
like the Browns as well too. Then you got 2 away games. One being, of course, at Cincinnati.
At Cincinnati, I'll give us a loss with that one. I'll give
Okay.
us a loss with that one. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, man, they hard to stop. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
they
We
are.
haven't have we played them in the last few years? I don't think we played them.
It's a good
So
question.
yeah, but yeah, I'll give Lions a loss with that
So after week 5, you're sitting at 3-2. I
one.
actually like the Lions in this one.
Hmm.
I think that obviously, the Bengals, of course, they re-signed T. Higgins this offseason. Jamar Chase got paid handsomely. And then, of course, you got Joe Burrow, but they still haven't done anything to address that defense. And I think
Yeah,
when you're playing Detroit branded football and Detroit's going to run all over them with Jameer Gibbs and Montgomery, when you
yeah,
run
it'll
the
be a
football,
shootout. Yeah,
exactly. Well, I don't think it's going to be a shootout. I think Detroit's going to control the clock with the run game, and Joe Burrow and the boys aren't going to be on the field to shoot out. Right? I think
yeah,
I think
that's
the
true.
game's going to come down to running the football. I don't think Cincinnati's defense has a prayer against the Lions' offensive line. Side note: Frank Ragnow retirement said he wanted to focus on family and
Yeah,
raising his kids. So
yeah.
one of the best centers in the game. Thoughts on that retirement?
Uh, it is what it is. I guess at this point, only
Who do
he
you guys
knows.
slide over?
I don't know. Maybe Graham Glasgow or something. He the one who would fill in for him
Yeah.
when Frank
Could be that
Ragnow's not
rookie
there.
offense. Could be that rookie O lineman you guys drafted. They might
It's
groom him.
it all depends on how intelligent he is, how smart he is, and can he gel with Jared Goff. That'll be the only way they put him in that position to start the season.
Yeah,
It'll be the only way. Yeah. Other than that, I just don't see it happening right now for him. Maybe
yeah.
though. You never know. Just depends on how intelligent he is. What's the next game?
Oh, oh, you know what the next game is, Xavier.
Yeah, I'm gonna give the
Week
Lions.
6,
I'm
Sunday
gonna
night
give the line.
football in Arrowhead at GEH Field. And if you say anything other than the Lions are going to lose, It's over.
Listen, I'm gonna give the Lions a win on the road with that one. Uh, I have to. We did it once. We can do it again.
We've been over this with no
We,
Travis Kelsey and no freaking Chris Jones. Two of our three Hall of Famers did not play that game. You guys put up 13 points as
so
an
what?
offense with
So
one
what?
pick six,
So
thanks to
what?
Kadarius Toney's stone hands,
So what?
and you guys won by 1 point.
We have a better wide receiver core, and
No, no.
we have a way better run game than the Chiefs.
Yes, obviously
Yeah,
the
I
run
know.
game.
Yeah,
Yes.
I know. Yeah, yeah. We have a way
Okay.
better run
Okay.
game, and our receivers are better. They
That's
just are.
not true. You have one receiver that's better. As a group, as a collective, the Chiefs have the better collect. Rashi Rice, Xavier Worthy, and Hollywood Brown and Travis Kelsey? Stop.
We haven't seen Hollywood Brown play. We haven't seen Rasheed Rice play. He was hurt. Both of them were hurt. And Xavier Worthy, I like Xavier Worthy. He's just a deep threat to me. That's all he is. He's not a prolific route runner, or you know what I mean. You can't catch him on the hook routes or the quick slants and all of that type of stuff. He's not that. So
That's
with
what he did
that,
all last
I
year when Rashi Rice went down. We have seen Rashi Rice play. We saw him win a Super Bowl his rookie year and be the leading receiver in an Andy Reid offense. We have seen Ross. And we saw him lead the NFL in
so
receptions and yards before he got hurt last year.
and they're still not better than the Lions receiver core. They're
As
just
a
not.
defensively, what are you doing with Pat in that game?
Uh, I think we can slow them down. I mean, the Chiefs only put up 20 points against us when we did play them. 20 points. That's all you guys had. 20 points.
Yeah.
Like, is that even like is that normal for the Chiefs against
The
a
last
team like the
couple of years it
Lions?
is. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, we'll see how they look. I'm sure, I know Patrick Mahomes. He stays grounded in football. I know he's going to come ready. By then, he's going to have a groove. He's going to be ripped. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, but I'm going to go with the Lions. Just because you're a Chiefs fan, I'm going to go with the Lions.
There it is. Thank you. Thank you for that. As I
Yeah,
always say, we owe our listeners the truth, and that is the truth, X. Just because I'm a Chiefs fan, obviously I'm the exact opposite for the reasons
of
that you
course.
said. Now, I will give you the run game. Yes, the Lions have the most dominant run game outside of maybe Saquon and what the Eagles do.
Let
They're
me
super.
ask you this. Let me ask you this. Is Xavier Worthy better than JMO? No. Is Rasheed Rice better than Amon-Ra St. Brown?
No.
No. All right. There you
Amon-Ra
go.
St. Brown's a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL.
Exactly, he is.
But
So
but but Jamison Williams, I wouldn't say is. I would say him
he's
and,
better. He's better than Xavier Worthy. He's
but
better.
he's not better than Rashi Rice.
Who? No. Well, I compare Rasheed Rice to Amon-Ra St. Brown, and I
Okay,
only did that
but that's what I'm
because
saying. So you
Xavier
guys have
Worthy
the
is your deep threat and JMO is the deep
But
threat.
that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying, though. But when you forget, we still have Hollywood, though, who's more than serviceable. And if stays healthy, we think he's not going to be a
He,
1,500 yard plus receiver. But Hollywood
of
can
course,
go
he's
for
not.
70 catches, 900 yards. Rashi will lead us, and then Worthy's going to be bombs away down the field. So as a
Yeah,
collective, I think the Chiefs
but
wide receiver core is harder to stop.
yeah, I mean Hollywood Brown is good, but he's not great. You know what I mean? I don't think
Yeah.
he's that. I don't think he's that
Okay.
100%
Who's better,
dependable receiver. I
Hollywood
just
Brown or your rookie Tesla or whatever his name is?
I haven't seen Tesla play in the
Exactly.
NFL,
As a
so and I don't
collective,
even think he'll get a lot of playing time anyway, just because of the sure hands of Tim Patrick. You know what I mean? So
you
I
guys
don't
did
see him.
resign Tim Patrick. Was that a
Yeah, so I
1
don't
year
see.
or 2 year deal?
I think it was just another 1 year deal.
Or was it another
Yeah,
1 year deal? Yeah, Tim
yeah,
Patrick
just a 1 year deal.
was big for you guys. So obviously we're split on the Chiefs game.
Yeah,
That's fine. So after week 6, miraculously walking into Lambeau, winning against the Bears, loss against the Ravens, win against the Browns, loss against the Bengals. I don't know how you think you're going to walk into Cincinnati and lose, but walk into Kansas City and win. Flip those two, Xavier.
it's just that tricky game, man. I don't think Terry and Arnold and the reader guy we signed, I don't see them slowing down T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. I just don't see it. You talk about top tier wide receivers, they are the elite. You know what I mean? They're
Yes.
part of the elite,
Yes.
and I
Jamar Chase is
just
the
don't.
best wide receiver in the
Yeah,
NFL.
And I don't see any of our corners slowing them down at all. Maybe Brian Branch, if they put him one-on-one with Jamar Chase, I think it maybe can be a 50-50 game. I don't know. But because Brian Branch is that good, you know what I'm saying? But other than that, I just don't see our secondary slowing them guys down. I just don't see it. That's the only reason why I give the Lions a loss.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Fair. Fair. And it's gonna be interesting. Obviously, just a sneak preview. Don't hold me to this, but we might have a little surprise for that Week 6 matchup in Kansas City.
Sure will.
Just a
We might.
little preview there. Okay, so after Week 6, you've got the Lions at 4-2. I believe I've got the Lions. I have them at 3-3. Let's go here. One, two, three. Yeah, I'm at 3-3. You're at 4-2. Then you got a couple of home games. You come back home. You got versus the Buccaneers. That's a Monday night game.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course you got the Vikings at home as well. So after the Chiefs, you got the Bucs and the Vikings back to back at home.
Bucks and Chiefs back to back at home. The Bucks, that's a toss up because we beat them in the regular season the year before, beat them in the playoffs, then we lost to them in the regular season last year. That was one of our 2 losses last year. I'll give us a win this time though.
Okay, at home, I like you against the Bucs.
Yeah.
I think Detroit's at a point over the last 4 years now, going on 5, with under the Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes regime, Sheila Ford Hamp, under Montgomery and Gibbs, and Goff, obviously, with the identity that they established. I think they've entered that Chiefs Eagles sort of territory that they win the games they're supposed to win, and I think you can bank on. Nothing against Baker Mayfield, who's had a resurgent career. Nothing against, you get Chris Godwin back healthy. I like that Bucs team, and I like them in the NFC.
Yeah, I do too. I like them too.
Yeah, they can always make noise when healthy. You got the Hall of Famer
Yeah.
Mike Evans on the other side. They've always got a nice defense. But
And I
yeah, I
think
think Detroit's.
I think they'll win the NFC South by a landslide. So
You got the NFC. Yeah, I mean, when you look at that division with, with the
Yeah.
Saints, and then you got Atlanta
and
under Michael
Carolina.
Penix, but that's all under our
That's
around
something
the
we just have
NFL
to.
talk.
Yeah, we have
Yeah,
to sit back and watch. Yeah.
absolutely. Okay, then you come back home again against the Vikings. Yeah, another division. This is your second division game of the year.
That's a win.
Okay.
We'll beat them.
Okay, so you're sitting at 6-2
Mm-hmm.
through 8 weeks. Wow. And you only give Detroit 12 wins, but yet you've already got them 6-2 through 8 weeks.
Let's keep going. We'll get there.
Well, listen here, guys. Pretty much X guesses the schedule like X plays spades. He might have 5 books in his hand, but he'll say 2 in a possible. Just keep that on the side note there.
Sure will.
Then you've got 2 road games. You go to Washington, the upstart Jaden Daniels-led Commanders, and then you go to Philly, the defending Super Bowl champs.
I'll give us 1-1 with them. We'll beat Washington, but we'll probably lose to Philly for sure. Yeah, because they just have it on. Philly has it on both sides of the ball, offense and defense.
They do. However, I compare Philadelphia and Detroit a lot to each other right now. Is Detroit as talented on the defensive side? No. However, I think with the way they drafted and getting the guys back, Detroit's going to get healthy. I think they're very comparable there. Yeah. Offensively, I have Jalen Hurts, of course, a step above Jared Goff. But when it comes to the run game, yeah, you've got Saquon Barkley, but I've got a 2-headed monster in probably the second best offensive line in football. So offensively, they're here. You talk about Amra, A.J. Brown, that's splitting hairs. Devonta Smith and Jamison Williams, you know? So offensively, I like Detroit to compete. It's just going to see how Detroit's defense is playing and who's healthy and all of those things. But, okay, so you've got them at 7-3. And then you've got 3 home games in a row. You've got the Giants.
That's a win.
And you got the Packers again back in Detroit at Ford Field. And then you've got always the big game, the Cowboys.
That's a win.
Thursday night.
That's 3 wins in a row.
Wow. So you go Giants, Packers, and Cowboys.
We won't lose a home game. Yeah, that's 3 wins in a row.
Wow. Okay. So after losing to the Eagles, you say the Lions go on a massive
we're going on a 3 home game run for sure. Yep.
Wow. Giants, Guaranteed. Packers, Cowboys, just like that. So you've split Okay, so you say you sweep the Packers then. Week 1 you
Yeah,
had them. Wow,
yeah. We'll
interesting.
sweep the whole division for sure again. But our
Wow.
losses will come elsewhere. It won't come from within the division. Yeah, I just don't see it.
You're very confident in this.
Yeah, I am.
Okay, yeah.
We have a
So
good
you're
team
already
now. It's not like 10 years ago. You know what I mean?
you're right.
This
You're
is
right.
the brand new Lions.
Absolutely here. I don't know where 3-6. I think I lost a game somewhere.
That'll
Well, there's a
be
bye,
that'll
but that's all right.
be 9-2.
After the Packers, oh, never mind. I didn't lose a game. After the Packers, you go to LA to play the Rams, and then you come back home
Well,
against the Steelers.
I'll give us a loss against the Rams,
Mm,
and yeah, they're gonna beat us this time. And I'll give
another
Steelers.
Stafford led against his old team.
Yeah, I could see us beating the Steelers too with Aaron Rodgers. I don't have any faith in Aaron Rodgers. He's 41 years old. You know, we're the same age. I don't. Yeah, I'll give us a win with the Steelers, but a loss to
Okay.
the Rams. Yeah,
Lost to the Rams, so you go 1-1 there. So you're sitting at 11-4 there after 15 games, and then of course you've got two more. You've got two away games, two divisional away games that could have massive implications on the back half of the season, massive
yeah.
implications on playoff seedings. You go to Minnesota, and then you finish up the year at Chicago.
Hmm. I guess I won't give them 5 losses. We'll win both of those. I'll give them
Okay.
four losses. Yeah.
How
So
do we
what's that?
feel about JJ McCarthy? Do you
13
think
and
JJ
4.
McCarthy's going to be able to compete this quote unquote? He was all hurt all last year, but this is really
Yeah.
technically his rookie year. How do we
Uh
feel? You
huh.
don't think JJ McCarthy can make some noise with that? They've added some defensive pieces in Minnesota. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say, we seen him win a championship in college, and then we watched him play in preseason his rookie year, and he
Mm-hmm.
lit it up in his rookie season. I just knew he was going to be great, but tore
Yeah.
his ACL or something like that, or his Achilles, either one, and we weren't able to see him. But he is going to be good. And with Minnesota, Minnesota went 15-2 last year, and both of their losses was to the Lions. They just can't get over that hump with the Lions now. So,
Yeah.
but so yeah, I'll give us what's that 13-4 on the season.
Yeah, yeah, 13-4 on the season. I know you were looking at a 12-5, but I
Hmm.
really think that the crutch. I think you're accurate there, but I really think the crutch of that is that first game in Lambeau. Watch out for Jordan Love. They're tired of getting swept. They're going to have
Yeah,
some more pieces. They're better on the. They drafted their wide receiver.
they did, but
Finally a first round wide receiver since
they
'02.
they drafted a wide receiver for like 4 years in a row.
Yeah, yeah. Well, not in the first round.
Not in the first round, but I'm just saying in
But they're
general.
collective between Romeo Dobbs, Christian Watson,
They
and
got
who's
some.
the
They
rookie
got
they
some.
just got? It wasn't the Tua guy out of Arizona. It was
It's a smaller guy too. He's a little bitty guy, but
yeah,
he's
yeah,
fast though. I can't think of his name, but yeah, I
yep.
know who you're talking about.
I've got I mean yeah, and your schedule's kind of like the Chiefs. We'll get into the Chiefs here in just a second, but a bit front loaded. You have that middle section, that tough stretch. You go to Washington, you go to Philadelphia. You've got a road game against the Chiefs and all of that. So I do like Detroit at 12-5. I like them. If I was a bet man, I'd take the over on that 10.5 game line.
Yeah, of
I
course.
like Detroit at 12-5. The good news about 12-5, that doesn't get you the one seed. I think that belongs to Philadelphia or somebody who does
Yeah,
go.
and that's
Uh,
fine.
yeah, Arizona's going to be back. Arizona's going to be better.
Yeah,
I think the 49ers with health are going to be better.
yeah, I agree.
They're going to win more than 6 games, I would think,
Hmm.
if everybody stays healthy. So you're going to have some contenders, and then we'll see what Washington does in his sophomore season, Jaden Daniels as well, too. We saw CJ Stroud have a hell of a rookie year, took a bit
Yeah,
of a step back this past year. We know he
yeah,
lost some pieces, but
yeah,
was
yeah. He
not the
did.
same quarterback.
He did.
I'm looking forward to see what Jaden Daniels does in his sophomore campaign. And then, of course, you've got Philadelphia. I think Dallas is going to be a little bit better. They go and add a secondary wide receiver. They, of course, have CeeDee Lamb, and then they just go and get that boy George Pickens, which,
I love George Pickens, man. It's my guy.
oh, I can't stand him, but that's fine.
Yeah, I
Um,
love him.
but either way, if he keeps his head in it, that's going to give Dak another weapon, of course. I still don't like
I
their
think
run
he
game.
will.
They didn't really do anything there. Miles Sanders, and they picked up somebody else. But so you've got some contenders, but that 12-5, 13-4 type of season in the NFC gets you that 2 or 3 seed.
Yeah, it's
And
possible.
as we've seen, if Detroit and Philadelphia are the two best teams in the NFC, they meet in an NFC championship game.
That's what I wanted last season. Man, I wanted that
Yeah,
game so
that's
bad
lights
last
out.
season, but we didn't get
So
it.
yeah. So okay, good. 13-4. That's a nice, clean, tidy, great follow-up campaign to 15-2. And of course, I've got them at 12-5. So we both like Detroit to win the NFC North. It sounds like we both like Detroit to be in the playoffs. Somewhere around there. So yeah, I like it. It is a tougher schedule, but I think under Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes and what the culture that they built, I think, of course, Detroit can definitely handle that. On to the Chiefs. But before that, listeners, of course, this is the Heartland Huddle podcast, Chiefs, Lions, and NFL Talk. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can check us out on Instagram. You can check us out on TikTok, all at Heartland Huddle. You can go to our merchandise website, pick up the newest sweatshirts, t-shirts, tailgate collections, all of the great things. But make sure you subscribe to the channel. Engage with us in the comments. It really, really helps. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Xavier, going over to the Chiefs, my team, Patty Daddy, Patty Melt, Patty Mahomes. Week 1.
Mm-hmm.
It's a YouTube game, exclusively streamed on YouTube. Once
Is it
again,
really?
shout out YouTube. This is where you can catch the Heartland Huddle podcast. Make sure you like and subscribe. Week 1 versus the Chargers at home, and then the Eagles at home. Week 2 Super Bowl rematch. I like 2 wins, both of them. 2-0.
Yeah, I'll give you 2-0 on both of those for sure.
2-0 on both of those. You don't
Mm-hmm.
think Philly comes into Arrowhead and gives us a run for our money?
No.
Wow.
I don't think that. Chargers. I like Jim Harbaugh, Justin Herbert. They're just not there yet, though, man. They're just not there yet.
Yeah.
Just not there yet. So.
And in fairness, they're building. I mean, obviously, they took another offensive lineman this year, right? They
Mm-hmm.
could have taken a running back. Excuse me, they did take Ashton Genty. No, excuse me, Ashton Genty went to the Raiders. What am I talking about?
Yeah, he went to the Raiders. Yeah.
That's right. They could have taken Ashton Genty, but instead they ended up taking the offensive lineman.
That's a lineman, yeah.
You
Which
see
they
what
needed.
Jim Harbaugh's building. Yeah,
they
great
need it.
offensive front. Think of the coaches in the AFC West now. Sean Payton for the Broncos, Jim Harbaugh for the Chargers, Andy Reid for the Chiefs, and Pete Carroll for the Las Vegas Raiders. What a head coaching
that's
division.
their Achilles heel, though. Their Achilles heel is Andy Reid. They can't beat him.
Their Achilles heel is Patrick
None
Mahomes.
of that matters if you can't beat the best.
You're right. You're right. But you got Sean Payton, who won a Super Bowl with the Saints. You've got Jim Harbaugh, who made it to a Super Bowl and a couple NFC championship games with the 49ers, won a national championship with Michigan. And then, of course, you got Pete Carroll, Super Bowl winner, went back-to-back with the Seattle Seahawks, won a bunch of national titles in college at USC. So, just what a head coaching division. So I think we're good there. I think Philadelphia, obviously, you can chalk it up as a revenge game. But I think our offensive line is going to be healthier. Obviously, we just drafted Josh Simmons, left tackle out of Ohio State. Everybody is so bullish and high on him out of Ohio State. If he can solidify and anchor that left tackle blindside spot for Patrick Mahomes, I love us against the Eagles. I think we come out firing. I'm glad we play him early, too.
Yeah.
Then we go, we can kind of run through, but this is front-loaded. We go to New York. We play the Giants. I think you and I probably
that's
got
a win.
3-0.
Yeah.
And we come back home, play Baltimore. Now, before you answer, everybody remembers last year, week 1, Baltimore, that was called the toenail game. Lamar Jackson misses a wide-open wide receiver in the end zone on the play before in the fourth quarter that would have sealed the deal. Next play comes back, hits Isaiah Likely, the tight end, the young stud tight end, at the back of the end zone. Likely comes out, and his toenail literally is out of bounds. Chiefs win. That started that string of one-score games the Chiefs won last year. All crazy games.
Yeah.
So do you think?
You
think the Ravens get revenge?
No, I'll give the Chiefs the win on that one.
Wow. Okay, so you got the Chiefs starting out. You got at home against the Chargers, at home against the Eagles, 2-0. We go to New York, play the Giants, 3-0, and back at home with the Ravens.
Yeah, I'll give the. I'll say 4-0. Yep.
Okay, 4-0. I'm going to go 3-1. I don't know with our defense. I'm curious to see. We've lost some pieces to Sean Wharton and some pieces across the defensive line.
Hmm.
Obviously, the big job is slowing down Derrick Henry
Hmm.
and Lamar Jackson. And
Hmm.
anytime you lose good pieces on the defensive line, that the prospect of trying to do that becomes a lot scarier.
Yeah.
And so I'm just kind of anxious to see how our new Norman Lott, the D tackle we got in the second round out of Tennessee. I
So you
think
don't
I'm
trust Brett Veach and what he did this offseason as far as the
no, I
defense
do.
goes?
Yeah, no, I do, and I think we're going to get some guys back healthy. I like our back end and different things like that. I'm just saying, you've got a lot of rookies, you've got a lot of younger guys on that defense, and right now Lamar Jackson, they're rolling, and they're always going to be good, and they've got a heck of a defense too. So I think that could be one of those games to where it was so close last year. It's always a close game with the Ravens. I think we could kind of get snuck in that one. So I've got us at 3-1.
Okay.
We go to Jacksonville week 5. I think
Yeah,
that's a
five and
good
zero.
game.
Yeah, 5-0.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've got us at 4-1. And of course, week 6, the big one. Once again, subscribers, catch us on Heartland Huddle podcast, Chiefs, Lions, and NFL Talk every week on YouTube. We do have some upcoming surprises for this season. Follow us to make sure you catch all of the debates and actions. Week 6, obviously, I've got the Chiefs against the Lions.
Against the Lions, yeah, I already got that's your first loss right there. So
That's the
with
first
me,
loss right there.
yep,
Okay.
yep.
Okay, so I'm sitting at 5-1, and I think you're sitting at 5-1 as well. Then,
Mm-hmm.
okay, let me update. Let me make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excuse me, 6-1 is what we'd be. Or no, that's only 6 weeks. Excuse me. Yeah, we're both at
Yeah,
5-1. I
five
have
and
the
one,
Chiefs losing to the Ravens, and you have the Chiefs losing to the Lions. So okay, yeah, we're both at five
guaranteed.
and one. We go. Then we come back home for 2 home games. We've got Las Vegas Raiders, and then we've got the Commanders at home.
Hmm. You said the Raiders and who?
The Raiders and the Commanders after.
Uh, I'll say yeah, 7-1.
Okay,
Yep,
7-1.
yep. They'll
Okay,
win both of those. Yep.
okay, 7-1.
Mm-hmm.
I like us. I actually like us to have a loss.
Against the Raiders.
Yeah, maybe against because it's always one of those it's always one of those divisional games that the Chiefs
It,
get
it,
caught up
it,
on.
and it's generally the Raiders too.
And the Broncos too. The
And the
Broncos
Broncos,
catch
yeah.
it. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's generally the Raiders. It's generally now if it's at home, I like us against the Raiders. I'm actually going to say a loss against the Commanders. I think that we also struggle a little bit with athletic running quarterbacks,
Mm-hmm.
and so I like us there. So I'm going to set us at 6-2 after
Mm-hmm.
8 weeks. You're sitting us at 7-1.
Mm-hmm.
I am curious to see how we look against Jaden Daniels. And then we go to Buffalo and
Mm.
to Denver. Excuse me. So you got the Bills and you got Denver, 2 back-to-back road games.
Yeah, I'll give you 0-2 with those.
Oh wow.
Yeah, with
Okay,
Denver and Buffalo. Definitely Buffalo.
I
But I
agree.
think
I
you guys are split with Denver though. I think you're split with
split with
Denver.
Denver.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and I'm with you there. So I didn't want to give it to us against the Raiders actually, but I did. I think we do lose a game to Broncos. I like Bo Nix. I
Mm-hmm.
think Sean Payton's what he's already done. They just got another corner to match up and pair with Patrick Surtain Jr.
Mm-hmm.
My gosh,
Mm-hmm.
their
Yeah.
defense is nasty work.
Yeah.
They could use
Yeah.
some help in the run game, but Bo Nix, Cortland
And Bo
Sutton's
Nix
still there.
is Bo Nix is good. He's
He's
really good.
good. He's
Yeah.
good. Don't say any more than good. Don't let's
No, I'm
chill
just saying
out.
he's good. I'm not gonna say he's great. He
Yeah.
hadn't got there yet. He got a couple years to go, but he's good.
Yeah,
From
absolutely,
what I've seen, he's
absolutely.
good.
So 1, 2. But yes, I do have a loss against the Bills. We always lose to the Bills in the regular season, and it's at Buffalo. So I'll say a loss there, and then I think I. Here's the thing: I don't like the Chiefs to lose back-to-back games. That's where I'm kind of going back and forth on this. At Buffalo, at Denver, I don't like them to lose back-to-back. But if it could happen, Heck, I don't know. Maybe it
It
does at that time,
it
right?
could be those road games. Yeah,
Yeah.
it could be. You never know.
Absolutely. And then, just to speed this up too, the rest of the games, I don't see us with another loss. I think after those two back-to-back losses, I think Andy Reid and the Chiefs say, okay, we're
Let's
entering November.
let's go
We're
on a run.
entering December.
Let's go on a run.
Time to hit the stride and not lose again for the rest of the year. So honestly, guys, just to speed this up, we've got the Colts win at Cowboys. I like us. Make sure you
Yeah,
check out that game, of course. That
yeah,
Cowboys game is on Thanksgiving this year. That's going
yeah,
to be incredible. And different things. But I like the Chiefs there.
yeah.
The Texans at home.
I
I
agree.
like us to win the rest of the way. So basically, what I'm
Yeah,
saying, I'm looking at 14-3 for
me too.
you. X right now. You got us at 3 losses.
Mm-hmm.
Colts, Cowboys, Texans. A loss in any
Mm-hmm.
of those.
No,
Okay.
nope. All
Uh,
wins.
Chargers, Titans, Broncos,
All wins. Yeah, definitely.
and then Raiders to end the year.
Another win. Yeah,
Another win.
14 and
So
three.
you and I are both saying 14-3.
Yep.
Now, the biggest difference in losses there is one, you say we lose
To
uh,
the Lions, Buffalo, and Denver one time.
in Denver one time, and I say we lose to, of course, Denver, Buffalo, and the Ravens.
Okay.
So interesting to see how that shakes out. 14-3, 14-3 for the Chiefs, 13-4 for you for the Lions, and 12-5 for me for the Lions. Either way, sounds like they're going to be two really good years for our respective teams again. I look forward to them in the playoffs as well.
Yeah.
So other than that, last note, I did want to get to our End Zone Insights segment. End Zone Insights, for those of you who don't know, is absolutely sponsored by nobody. And but it's where we go around the NFL. This is called the Heartland Huddle Podcast, Chiefs, Lions, and NFL Talk. Aaron Rodgers, he finally signs with the Steelers. Thoughts?
Yeah. I think it's just something for him to do because he just still has the heart to play football. Um, can they get a winning record? Could he have a winning record in Pittsburgh? Sure he can, because Mike Tomlin, he's just that guy. Never had a losing season, regardless of who was at quarterback. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So,
yeah.
and that's all I give them. Will they make playoffs? Yeah. Will they lose probably first round in the wild card or whatever? Yeah, they will. But he's just a placeholder because you got 5, 6, maybe even 7 guys coming out of the draft next season in the 2026 draft. So he's just a placeholder till they draft who they really, really want. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all. That's none more, none less.
Yeah, I don't argue with you there. I'm and I've said it on this podcast. We talked about it last year a bunch. Aaron Rodgers to me is I wish he'd just go on personally. However, because here's the thing, you hear a report just came out, an article just came out on ESPN talking about how he's had a positive effect in minicamp on his teammates and all that. We heard it with the Jets. We heard it
Yeah,
every year with Green
yeah.
Bay. He's a
And
great
they're all
guy,
young. They're
and they're
all
all
young,
young.
so
They
they're
don't know
gonna
what to do.
respect them. Yeah, they're gonna
Yeah,
respect. They watched them growing up, so common
exactly.
sense to tell you that they're gonna give him the utmost respect just because he's Aaron Rodgers. But at the same time, he's just a placeholder. I'm with you. He need to let it go. Let it
Let
go.
it go. And it's interesting that, the Steelers let Russell Wilson walk. They let Justin Fields walk. And they don't address. They could have. Shador Sanders. And we've talked about that on our last episode. Go check out the Shador Sanders talk. It was very engaging. But, yeah, they let Shador Sanders pass in the draft. They let, a bunch of guys at pick. I think it was 18 or 19 there or 21 or something like that. They let a bunch of guys walk, and they decide to go with the 41-year-old Rodgers. So you just think that maybe Rooney and the GM and Tomlin have something up their sleeve for next year when the quarterback
Yeah,
classes are better, what have you. But,
yeah. Common sense to tell you that. Yeah, if you know
does Aaron
football,
Rodgers do
then
anything more for you than what,
Russell
um,
Wilson did. No,
Russell Wilson did? Yeah.
no.
You bring in DK Metcalf, you get rid of George Pickens, so it's, I don't know. You get rid of Najee Harris.
And
Or
right
no, or
now, it's only 2 targets that we know of, which is DK Metcalf and Fryermuth. That's it.
yeah.
That's all we know about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now we always believe in Pittsburgh's defense, of course, but we
Yeah, yeah,
believed in
yeah.
the Jets' defense. Now they have some different dysfunctions, but Rogers, give it up, man. And it's interesting. I don't know how you can watch the last 2 years of Aaron Rodgers, really the last four, and say,
Mm,
you know what? Our goal is just to win a playoff game. That's the other part of it, right?
yeah,
We credit Mike Tomlin for not ever having a losing season, but they haven't won a playoff game in a decade.
yeah,
And
and
so was this
that's
just a move to win a playoff game, just to
no,
end that streak? Because it's
no,
not to win a Super Bowl. I'll tell you that right
no.
now.
It's not even that to win a playoff game. It's to just have another season, another winning
Another 10 and
record. That's it.
7, 9 and
Yeah,
8,
that's
get
it.
a get a
That's
7
all you're
seed.
gonna get. That's all you're
Yeah,
gonna get out of it, and Rodgers will finally give it up for sure.
yeah, yeah. So,
That's it.
well, anyway, I think that about wraps it up, Xavier. Thanks for hopping on here. Once again, if you're still listening to us, guys, you can catch our episodes weekly on our YouTube channel. You can search at Heartland NFL Talk. And then, of course, you can catch us on TikTok. You can catch us on our Instagram, and making sure you're visiting our merchandise there. Check out the links in our bios. Check us out. Subscribe. We've got some really great things coming up for you this coming year. We're excited. We know you guys are too. So rock with us all summer and all year, and we'll be here week in and week out. With that, I think we're good, X.
Yes, sir.
Until next time, guys. Peace.